This has been a fantastic home for Lena and I. When we were getting out of the Marines and coming back to Brooksville, we needed a place to live, and we had a family friend of ours that we were going to be selling the house for. She was looking to sell, we were looking to buy. So instead of listing it, we just purchased it from her. We made a negotiation and we closed on the home. And then we lived in it for a little while, and then we just thought we were gonna be living here pretty much like for quite a while. So we went ahead and started making improvements on it. And I have to say, for one of the homes that we lived in, this is the one that we put the most money into and did the biggest rehab in. And that's probably, we felt comfortable because we had done smaller little rehabs throughout our Marine Corps career, and then in our investment career, we got used to doing bigger and bigger rehabs. So we had a big wall here that we were able to take down. We replaced all the cabinetry, put it in this beautiful black granite top. We looked at multiple different granites before Lena landed on this one and that we agreed on it. She's the one that designed most of how this looks. We worked with the contractor to kind of discuss like little nuanced things here and there with color schemes and what we wanted on the cabinetry and all that kind of thing. And then we, you can see back there a little bit in that back bathroom, we used a different contractor. They both did really great jobs. And if you're looking for somebody to do a home renovation, reach out. We can give you both their contact information. But this was a great home. We then were walking in the neighborhood across the street because it's got a couple miles worth of availability to walk in. And we just started like, wow, this is nice, 2.5 acres, everything looks private. And we just happened to find the home that we want to live in for a very long time. It had a pool, which all the girls wanted. I was the only one that didn't want it, but we settled on that. So then we were like, what are we gonna do with this? Well, because we were already doing rentals in the area, we actually own like 5 or 6 of them, within like a mile radius of the home. We're like, we'll just put it in the rental portfolio and we'll worry about it later on down the road. So we found tenants, closed on the home, we moved in, boom, living life. Well, earlier this year, we decided, hey, I think it's now time to go ahead and, sell that property. We have some other, things that we wanted to do. You maybe have seen or heard, we purchased a summer cottage in Sweden. So, we've got some other ventures that we were looking to get into. So we went ahead and listed the home. And when we did, we knew that we wanted to keep the northern acre on the property. So I spoke to the county beforehand, kind of asked them if we could do this, showed them a survey, and they were like, yes, it's been grandfathered. There's various different reasons of why I could do it, because there was 4 different lots, and that lot didn't have any structures on it, and some other things that met the requirements. And so great. We listed the home and we excluded it on the MLS that says, hey, the home is the home and the 3 lots to the south. We had an appraisal done ahead of time because I was really, kind of struggling like, well, what is this going to sell for? And I wanted a second opinion, from a licensed appraiser. So we went ahead and had a private one done. Came in a little lower than I wanted, but that's okay. And then we actually listed it lower than what that appraisal amount came in because we wanted to move the property quicker. We wanted competition on the home, and we got exactly that. And then once we got it under contract and everything was agreed to and we got through the inspections, we weren't going to waste time at the county going to get that lot split off if, for some reason it didn't sell. So we went ahead and split that northern acre off in the middle of the sale. It was all disclosed inside the MLS. I made sure that the realtor understood. We had a small copy of the survey printed out, marking it, hey, this is not conveying with the property, all that kind of stuff. We had it in the MLS as well. So, everyone was on the same page with what was going to transpire in that transaction. And so we communicated effectively on that, and we were able to sell the home separately and then keep that other acre. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do with that. However, we knew like, well, maybe one day one of our girls want to build on it. Maybe we want to build on it. You never know. But we knew that we could achieve a better price point for the house and get more traction on it if it was just a house with a half acre versus a house with an acre and a half. And so that was a strategy that we employed so that way we could list the home lower, give it an affordable house out into the market that's been well maintained, well taken care of from the life of it. Because a little tidbit about this is I grew up a couple different houses, and one of them is like literally a stone's throw away from here. We still own that as a rental property. And my mom's and Dad's friends lived in this home, and they had 2 sons that were a little bit older than us, but were close enough in age that we hung out with them kind of pretty consistently. And so I actually spent the night in this home many a times as a young kid, and I thought that that was cool. We got to live in it ourselves. We got to love on it. You could feel the love in this home, and we were super excited that we had a place to have the girls for a temporary time until we found what we're calling our forever home for now. And you know, it's a little bit bittersweet, you know, because this is a property that's been around in our family. We used to come over here on Christmas mornings, you know, and then we had our own Christmas mornings here. So it was a very special time in our family's lives to come in here as a transitionary phase of being gone for 20 years in the Marines, traveling across the country, living in, you know, 14 different houses, I think, across the country, fixing a lot of them up that we did buy and turn into rentals. And then, you know, living here, thought we were going to have this, but then God had other plans for us, which we were super stoked about because we love where we're at. We love the neighborhood, and this is literally like a mile away from where our current home is. So we're still close to the downtown. We're still in the country. We aren't far from, you know, getting to the expressway or the interstate. So we loved this location. So we feel extremely blessed that we got to stay pretty close to this location because it is ideal for us. But you know, this was a great deal. We feel heartfelt about this property, and we are excited that a new owner is going to come in here, and they're going to get to love on it, and they're going to get to put their own flair and their own style. So we're excited to hopefully get to see one day, you know, what it looks like in the future. And we just super appreciative of all the folks that we worked with over the years to get the home looking like it is. That's Josh Pfeiffer. That's Jacob Vaughn and his team. With the bathroom, and Josh, you know, with the kitchen updates here, and then getting it ready prior to getting it listed. You know, we had Cliffs come out and redo the drain field for us back then, Cliffs Septic, so we're super stoked about that. And then we've had my brother out here doing the lawn care for us, so Noe's Lawn Care with Seth. And then Tyler Adams help us maintain that northern acre because it gets a little overgrown and things like that. So we've loved it. We are excited to the next chapter of what this home will do and the next chapter in our lives with where we're going to be able to take the money that we invested into the home and redeploy it into other projects that we get into. And so stay tuned. We are bittersweet saying goodbye to this home and looking on to the next chapter.